Join us on this episode. We're going to be talking about substitute teachers taking away cell phones and then having to defend themselves. And we discuss whether or not school is actually too long and should they bring back certain classes so kids can learn about life. And then we discuss why Devin is now buying his kid a giraffe. So make sure you give us a 5-star. Make sure you guys join us for Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.
Hey everybody, welcome to Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. We got a brand new episode today with myself, Devin Seabold, and my good buddy, Mr. James Yan.
What's up?
He's an accomplished comedian. He's going to be appearing, by the way, on the Board Teachers Comedy Dates in Florida, so check out that.
That's right.
Yeah, you definitely want to see him live if you've never seen him live before. Powerhouse comedian, amazing dude.
Love you.
True story, one of the first shows that I ever did, this guy was hosting.
That's right.
Yeah, and I met
true.
you, and from then on, we've just been best buddies. We have. And it's been fun, man. But be sure to rate this a 5-star, this podcast 5-star. Share it with all your friends. Let them know all about it. And be sure to check us out online as well. Follow all the CIMC podcasts on Instagram, Crying in My Car on Facebook, all that good stuff. Now, James, speaking of Facebook and Instagram, I was on Instagram the other day, and I saw a meme that said that school is too long, that these kids can't learn, they're exhausted when they get home, that school shouldn't be 8 hours a day because work is 8 hours a day.
Got it.
And you're essentially giving these kids work,
a job.
For 8 hours a day.
Gotcha.
Now, I disagreed with that. I vocalized my support. Seemed like a lot of people supported my argument against the 8 hours. But also, I mean, I don't remember school, like when you're a kid, ever seeming long. I mean, sometimes the day felt a little bit longer than others. But
yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, but I didn't really think like, oh my gosh, this is all day long. I mean, you're out by, at the latest, schools are out by 3:30.
Yeah.
You got the rest of the evening to hang out, play with your friends, go on bicycles, or for today's kids, log on to Minecraft and mindlessly waste away for
Pretty
6
much.
hours. But what I argued, I don't think schools are too long. I think that the curriculum we have them engaged in is too much. And what I mean by that is we have kind of forced these kids to become academic scholars at kindergarten. I mean, they are forcing constant teaching, constant math, constant learning on the children when I think that we've let go of the social learning aspect of it. I think that school should be 8 hours a day. But I think there needs to be more play. There needs to be more arts. There needs to be more interacting free time, an actual free time. Like recess for some schools is like every other day. Some schools don't even get recess, or
Which
it's like
is
20
harmful.
minutes long. I think it needs to be a full hour.
Agreed.
I think that there needs to be an abundance of socialization within schools to get these kids back into learning how to interact with each other. I think we've kind of stepped away from that because we can interact now on the computer and on Facebook and talk to people and TikTok and all that. So what do you think?
I am so glad you brought this up because I have a lot to say about this. Okay. What I notice with kids, my wife tells me this all the time because she runs a doctor's office. There's kids, and I say kids because they're 18. They're still kids to me. They'll come in still with their mothers, and they won't speak to the receptionist. The mother's doing all the talking. And the reason that is because kids have not been taught social skills.
Social skills are non-existent.
Non-existent. And I think that's missing. And the more you start taking those things away from kids in school, as far as where they can get socialization, whether it's at recess, whether it's free time, you are hindering their development and their growth to be adults.
Yeah.
You got to have a way to introduce that and keep it going in schools.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple subjects missing too. I think life skills are missing from curriculums. And I also think bring the trades back. And let me start with life skills.
Okay.
There's kids out there like back in the day.
Dang, James, you had a lot to talk about. Okay.
I do.
You ready
man.
for this? All right. Go ahead.
Life skills, honestly, kids need to know how to do certain things to take care of themselves. Like,
Yeah.
I think cooking's a necessity.
I absolutely agree.
Yes, kids need to know the basic fundamentals of how to cook and take care of them. But they don't get taught that anymore. Just think of the past. It's looked at as passé.
Yeah.
But no, it's really needed. Kids need to learn certain things in economics. How back in the day, we would learn how to write a check from our parents. That should have been taught.
Yeah.
Certain things, credit. Financial literacy needs to be taught because we've given them all these skills to go be academic and scholars, but we haven't taught them what to do once they get it.
Right.
How to survive.
Yeah.
Also, not everybody, and please hear me out, I know this is a teacher's podcast, not everybody is built to go to college.
No.
But that doesn't mean there's not some kind of education they can get to better their life. Bring trades back to school. Electrician, shop, all those things
Shop.
like that.
They don't have any
They don't
shop
have any of those
classes.
things. Learning how to fix things that may break around your house is also a needed necessity, man. It really is. Bring those things back where people can make a living, those trade schools where people can go learn something and still be productive and have a good job.
Yeah.
I know plumbers who make great money, man. Electricians, the same thing. We need to bring those programs back to the kids and
I
teach
agree.
them something.
It goes back to what we saw when we were kids.
Yeah.
And I get that it's different times. I get that the kids spend a lot of times on their phone, way more times online.
Yes.
We were not in a generation that grew up on that. I don't think that you necessarily have to force kids into our old way of thinking.
No.
But there is a requirement in life to interact with people that don't interact the same way you do through the cell phone.
That's right.
You can't text your doctor face to face,
No.
and go, hey, this is what I'm,
Yeah.
You have to have conversations. You have to
Yes.
know how to be polite. I think that's also why we've lost empathy, a lot of couth, a lot of our
right.
respect for one another,
Yes.
because people aren't able to interact. And this is another thing too. I will say this as well. One of the things that I enjoyed about me growing up is I was in schools that were very diverse.
Yes.
I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood.
Gotcha.
And then I went to schools that had all walks of life, from wealthy to poor to gay to straight to
Yes.
And I think that exposure of being around, having a conversation.
So true.
There's kids that have never had a conversation with another gay person. There's adults that have surrounded themselves by people of the same color, same thought process, same everything, and then they consistently vote or act against people that are different than them because they don't know or have ever been exposed to that lifestyle.
We instinctively, I think, as people, we're a little afraid of what we don't know.
Yeah.
So if you don't know another race, another culture, or a way of life, you're not likely to go approach that.
No.
But when you're in a school and you're forced to be around those different people,
Yes.
it definitely teaches you about things that you may not learn at home.
Yeah.
Or about people that don't look like you, don't act like you. That is so important. I mean, I think that's why everybody around me, I have such a diverse group of friends. I just do, from every walk of life,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
And I treasure that. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's making me a well-rounded person.
But you also don't have that hatred in your
No,
heart for other
not at
people.
all.
And if you do have the hatred, it's literally the person.
Yes.
I don't hate that group.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is you can go, I don't like them.
No.
But I don't have anything against who they are
Yeah.
as a person. I have a thing against who they are when they're around me.
That's
and
right.
how they've treated me, how they treat others around them.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the interesting thing, is that kids need that exposure.
They do.
But also they need an environment where they have that exposure. Teaching to the test does not expose them.
No.
Teaching the specific curriculum where they're not able to discuss certain histories, not able to have engaging interactions with other students, where they're not able to bring up questions. There's a teacher that said that, in one of the news articles that we had last episode, I didn't read the quote, but she was from Florida, and she said specifically that she is not able to stray from the curriculum that is presented. It is cut and dry. You teach, this happened this way, and that's it. And any outside questions, if admin walked in and you're addressing something that's not specifically to that particular topic, you can get docked on your evaluation, which also impacts pay. And so this is the problem, is that we don't have these, and she quoted it as accurately as I can say it, we don't have teachable moments anymore in school.
I was going to comment on that. Aren't you taking away from the kids' learning if you say you can only teach it this way and you can't answer questions which may stray from that curriculum?
There's no teachable moments.
Aren't you taking away from critical thinking?
Absolutely.
Aren't you taking away from kids thinking outside the box?
But some people want that gone. because that means
That's crazy.
that you support whatever they have to say, regardless of anything outside, because you're not able to take in outside opinions. You're not able to critically think and go, you know what? That politician said this, or this thing is being passed this way. I should question it. Because you've never been raised to question it. You're raised to accept it. And that's the problem, I think, anyways.
No,
and
I
again,
think
I'd love people to chime in. I know some people think I'm just going off on a tangent, but I see it with kids, and I travel the country, and trust me, the heavier I've seen a lot of racism across America. I've seen a lot of sexism across America. I've seen a lot of homophobia across America. The places that I see it the most are the places where the other type of person that they are hateful against does not exist. They're not there.
They're ignorant to actually.
Yep.
Okay.
And you know what's funny is Tell is gay, openly gay on stage. He talks about it.
Tell?
Yeah, the guy with
that guy?
The incredibly tight sequin pants. I know that shocks a lot of people.
Me?
But Tell.
I mean, I should have been a little suspicious after we kissed, but no.
It's one of those things. So I
love you, Tell.
I love Tell to death.
Yeah.
Now Tell will do the tour with us, and I get complaints. They don't complain to him. He even said, he goes, those people never complain to me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They say that he's pushing an agenda. They didn't want his gayness out on stage being addressed to the whole. It's like, okay, whatever. But guess where we get that? At the most conservative, kind of very blocked off parts of society that don't have a big gay population.
They don't have an openly.
They don't have an openly, big openly gay population, because they're there.
They're there.
Yeah, but
that's right.
It's sometimes those areas where they're kind of still behind times a little bit.
Which I still can't believe. At this point, why do we? What people? I just want to know, why do we care?
But this is the thing too. I will say I don't necessarily blame those people. I blame a lack of socialization, diversity, inclusion.
Yes,
it takes place at a young age. These parents got to introduce their kids to different ways of life.
Yes,
they introduce them to different ways of thinking, to where when they grow up, they're more accepting. Don't close off your children to society and mold them around one specific linear. We are one of the most diverse countries in the world.
Yes, we are.
But yet we still hold people up and go, yeah, this is what you should know. This is what you should value, and nothing else matters.
Yes. It's funny that we live in the home of the free.
Yep.
But we get angry when you try to exercise your freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. And, but again, to address the original question, should school be all day? I think it should. I think it even maybe should be longer. And the reason I think that is to accommodate parents, too, who have jobs and they work late. And sometimes, they have to pay for extended care or whatever. I think that school should mirror the workday, but also we should have extra, like a bunch of extra, not more work for teachers, but hire more outside influences, like you said, a shop teacher, a home ec, not necessarily, some of these things have kind of gone away. I don't know that sewing is maybe one that we need. Let's learn about social media etiquette. Let's learn about real life things, and like you said, trades, how to repair stuff, how to build things, give these people a new outlook.
For people who may not want to go to college, it's not for everybody, man. You give them a way out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when I was young, I got exposed to that kind of stuff because I was in a gifted student program, and we had a shop class. And I was in elementary school, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, building sailboats. And we built a glass-bottom sailboat, sailed it down the Banana River.
What?
As kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I never forgot that. And not only did I never forget that, but when we were on the boat staring down at the marine life and looking at all the things below us, we had a marine biologist on the boat with us. And you realize marine biologist was like what I wanted at that point. I was a kid so influenced by this, and I said, I want to be a marine biologist. I want to study this. And because I was exposed to it, I got to see somebody working and doing something they love, not just reading about it on paper. And I went all the way to college going, marine biologist, done. And then I actually took a marine biology course in college where the teacher loved what they did so much that I was like, you know what? Maybe I would like to be a teacher. Maybe I could pass on my passion about this. And mainly because I got seasick. But that's beside the point. I mean, really.
It's hard to be a marine biologist.
I get so seasick
on the land.
I know.
Yeah.
I can see it through my binoculars. There's water. And there's things in it.
In conclusion.
Also, in Florida, alligators. I have a deathly bad fear of alligators in the water.
Rightfully so, sir.
I don't get near the edge.
Really?
And I'm a giant. You would think that I would I just have this fear that they're going to pop out. And so I was like, yeah, maybe studying water in Florida, not a good thing.
Not
a good thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mosquitoes, don't like them.
Nope.
So I'm with you, Team James. I'm like, let's expose the kids, give them more things. Let's stop with this linear education that we've kind of holed ourselves into,
I thought when kids went to school, it was to learn the pursuit of knowledge.
Yes.
And when you don't give them a way to think outside that one linear path, you're really disabling them. You're hurting them more than you're helping.
Right. And plus you're hurting our future because we need those creative thinkers to come up with new ways to cure cancer, to come up with new ways to build roads, to come up with new ways to contribute to society. They don't even have that new avenue because they can't think outside what's in front of them on their phone.
That's right.
All right, let's go into the teachers in the news. Here's an interesting one. What school leaders can do to ease stress. It talks about burnout, teacher burnout, and says that the demand of the environment has gotten overwhelming for teachers. They really don't know what to do. So some schools are starting up things like a yoga class in school. Some are doing meditation. They had basically a big stress relief questionnaire that they gave all of them and said, what do we do? And they said they needed to do this. First thing they said is they need to listen to teachers. They need to nurture a climate of self-care and also take a trauma-informed approach. That's the new keyword, by the way, within schools is trauma-informed. Mental health problems have risen among children and adults, and educators are often the first to confront the effects of anxiety in the classroom, and we needed to basically be aware of the trauma that the kids are under and us as well, identify the stressors, get rid of that stuff. Now, it's easier said than done. You sit here and you go, all right, yoga, but not everybody's into yoga. Okay, meditation. Not everybody's into meditation. Also, I don't care how long I meditate if 2 minutes after I meditate, somebody is cussing me out and threatening me and a student wants to beat me up or there's a parent yelling at me on the phone, that doesn't change the situation. It just basically changes my body composition to hopefully better deal with it. But that said, let's get rid of that stuff too.
Yeah, let's do that, please.
Let's tackle that. By the way, the reason that I also chose this, and I absolutely love this, is because the picture of teachers doing yoga has them with their hands above their head. And there is one teacher, James, if you look in the corner, she is sniffing her armpit. She is very concerned.
Okay, I think the technical term for that is pit check.
Yep, and then I'm the teacher in the back. There's a guy teacher in the back, and he has his hand on his forehead like this. Yeah. Everybody else is doing something.
He's stressed out by yoga.
Okay.
And I hate to say this because I've noticed this with my kids being in college. There's a whole new level of stress that kids have to deal with that we did not have when we were growing up. Let me explain. Now, we all had the pressures of making sure you did all your reports, your homework, you got everything ready for college. They have a new stress now, unfortunately, with all these shootings happening. Kids go to school not knowing if they're going to be safe.
Yeah.
Teachers go through the same thing, so that's an added level of stress.
Parents go through the same thing. I mean, absolutely. I send my kids off to school every day, and I go and I sit just today. I was sitting by my pool. I'm having a nice drink. I'm relaxing, and I was like, oh, man, my kids are at school. This feels pretty good, to have some me time. And then just briefly, in my mind, you get that, I thought for just a second, I never want to get that call.
No.
And there's parents out there that have gotten that call.
They sure have.
And a lot more or keep getting it. And that's the problem is. But like you said, the stress of not being safe in school.
it's something new that these kids go through now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And not only that, but teachers have to worry about being safe too. And it's not just the guns and the violence and things like that. There's an increasing amount of violence towards teachers. For example, an argument escalates when a substitute teacher confiscates a cell phone. So a teacher confiscated a cell phone at a high school. It was a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
And immediately the students started getting aggressive and responding and basically said, hey, why do the rules not apply to everybody else? That's my phone. The substitute teacher said it does apply to everybody. They went back and forth. No, you didn't keep their phone. Yes, I did. And then the students started putting the hands on the teacher, at which point she said, don't touch me, over and over again. And apparently the substitute then fought back. Now, the interesting thing is that this is the sad part. There's already a policy in place where it says if an employee is attacked by a student, the employee has a right to reasonably restrain the student and defend themselves to the point that they are free of threat or attack. So no charges were filed. The student clearly attacked the teacher in the video. The teacher fought themselves off, and literally nothing has been done. That's the point we're at now, where that would have made major news.
Yes, it would have.
And right now it's just like, another one.
I'm trying to think of this as a parent.
Yeah.
And imagine I'm getting a phone call saying, hey, there was an incident at the school. Apparently there was a teacher and they put hands on your child. Now, I can imagine the first thought going through your head is, how dare somebody, hit my little Johnny? You know what I mean? But on the other hand, I'm thinking from your perspective as a teacher, you're there to teach and you're there enforcing rules. And then when this kid gets out of hand and starts putting hands on you, at what point is it, I'm defending myself? Like, have you ever had that encounter, or have you ever had?
I've had some students get in my face. Yeah.
Okay.
I had one that I thought was going to fight me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but being 6'6", he thought twice.
Yeah, he did.
he had a second thought.
Gotcha.
And it didn't escalate to that point. But,
gotcha.
Somebody said in the comments on that last article that as a teacher, you have to be the one to de-escalate the situation and say, calm down, we got this. But, I've seen videos like that, and I just don't think the students are happy with calm down anymore.
No.
I think they want that. They made it to that point and they go, I'm going to fight. I'm going to push. I'm going to keep going. And I've had students that have been like that. I had a student one time that I'll never forget. Man, I love this story, but I don't know if I should be telling it, but we'll go with it. I can't get fired twice.
No, you can't. No.
I was never fired the first time. But anyways, I had a student that was talking to me about her grade.
Okay.
And she specifically said, you need to get your S together and grade my work.
Wow.
Yeah, which, by the way, I will give a little bit of backstory. Did not turn anything in for weeks. Gives me a stack of papers 2 days before the grading period ends, and then tells me I need to get my S together to grade her papers.
Wow.
And I said, if you had your S together, I wouldn't get a stack of papers 1 day before the grading period ends. Mm-hmm. And that's what me backtalking her. And I said the word.
Did you really? Did you say it? Okay.
I said, you need to get your S together. And she, furious, ran out of the room.
Oh my gosh.
Ran out of the room and was like, I'm going to tell the principal. And this is the best part, James. I thought in my head, well, you shouldn't have cussed.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have met her at that point. I'll probably get written up for this.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call from the principal, and the principal said, hi, your student is in my office right now. Mm-hmm. She goes, now, she said that you said something to her in terms of a curse word. She said, but she conveyed that to me in a rather colorful way. So I'm not going to write you up because I kind of understand what you were going through. And I guess the student went into the principal's office and literally told the principal, you need to get this F this, O that. And just went off and started cussing out the principal in the way that they wanted to tell on me.
Gotcha.
And so the principal was like, Yeah, you wrong.
Yeah.
You wrong on this. You're wrong. It's not.
Oh my God.
So she was on my side instantly. You know, had she gone in and politely been like, Mr. Siebold said this, it might have been a different story.
Different story, man.
But she didn't go about it right.
No, she did not. That's a lesson in approach.
Yes, absolutely. All right, this teacher in Florida is under investigation after showing a video celebrating Confederate History Month to the entire school. Okay, the video aired as part of the morning announcements and said, if you didn't know, April is officially celebrated as the state of Florida named it Confederate History Month, which I'm not sure that's true. If it is, what?
Why?
And then the school district wouldn't identify who the teacher was, said they're investigating. The video apparently said every year our state celebrates and memorializes those valiant, brave, and countless sacrifices by our men and women known as the Civil War. Now, what was known as the Civil War, parents very concerned said this is very biased. It was pro-Confederacy propaganda and said it was straight out of a Confederate sympathizer playbook.
Yes.
Now, this is the interesting thing is at first I was like, I don't know if they're trying to make you sympathize for the Confederacy. I get that it's maybe just, hey, our great-great-grandfathers, our forefathers died during let's honor them.
Yes.
But nope. This video said this blows my mind. At one point, the teacher suggests during the video, the teacher narrated it and suggests that we call the Civil War by a different name.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
The Civil War, or as it may be correctly titled, the War to Prevent Southern Independence.
Woo!
No. It's the Civil War. It's always been called the Civil War, teacher said.
Let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment. Southern independence.
The war to prevent Southern independence. They're the victim here.
They are, because let's get this right. They were independent in the South.
Yeah.
Except when it came to work.
Yes. You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
No.
Yeah. So they spoke about celebrating the Confederacy and apparently not okay. So doing it accurately, historically, talking about the Confederacy may be one thing. To celebrate the Confederacy, let's be real. You lost the war for a reason. You can sit here and downplay why you fought the war, but we specifically know why you fought the war. It's very well documented.
Yeah.
And but whatever. That's what they want to do. So this teacher apparently is still employed, but the school district is currently investigating. But it's the school district down in South Florida, so we know how that investigation will turn out. All right, this next one, I don't have the access to the article because the Washington Post always has a stupid paywall, but I did read it earlier when I had my one free article.
There you go.
And it is apparently a booming club in the current school environment. I don't have it up so you can't see it. Take a guess. What is booming right now in schools? It's surprising too, but apparently this club is growing exponentially. And I wouldn't think it would be something that would grow exponentially. Like, I thought it would be dead.
I'm just going to take a guess at something I don't think is chess club.
Yeah, it's chess.
And
chess
I think
is
I know
booming.
why.
Why?
There was a huge interest in chess just last year because of a Netflix show.
Oh,
Queen's Gambit.
Yes.
And it became very popular again.
That could be.
Yeah.
So the kids are really into chess all of a sudden, too.
Which chess is a great brain teaser for you.
Absolutely is, and it's highly competitive. When I feel like I lose a game on Call of Duty, you get angry. When you lose a game on chess, you're like, oh, good move. Oh man, I was outsmarted.
It's a game of wits.
Yes,
absolutely,
it is.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I haven't introduced my kids to chess yet. I'm an avid chess player, believe it or not. I used to have a hand-carved wooden chess set that was like the centerpiece in my house. When you walked in, you would see that chess set, and you'd be like, wow, like it was just mesmerizing, and it was a beautiful. I used to play all the time. It's been a while because a friend of mine was the head chess club guy, and I helped him out occasionally, but he was the main guy. I didn't want to step on any toes, so it was like his thing. But I would have loved to have sponsored chess club. club and actually like,
And chess is a cool game. Like I played a little bit with one of the father figures in my life when I was growing up. I had a friend named Mike, and his dad would always spend time with me because I didn't have a father, of course. So he was that male role model in my life, and he taught us to play chess. Yeah. And I enjoyed that short stint that we played with each other, man. It's definitely, it's a game of just outlasting.
Yes.
Like it really is, man.
And plus you socialize.
Yeah.
You get to play with a friend, and it's not really high stakes. It's just, all right, make your move.
And it's a game of admiration. You don't trash talk in chess.
Right.
But when a person does something pretty impressive, you're like, oh, all right, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next one, before we get to the final one, is in Pennsylvania. They're actually having a new teacher certification shortage. So not a teacher shortage. They are looking at how many teachers are getting certified in that state to teach in that state. Now, I knew it was less. I didn't know the exact numbers because a lot of the states don't release that information.
Okay.
This blew my mind. Do you realize that in 2012, in state of Pennsylvania, there were 16,000 new certifications for teachers. 16,000 new teachers coming in a year. This past school year, there were 4,200 new teacher certifications. They're just not even wanting to join.
No.
And it's funny because I don't know that there's any hope. Because we do these shows, and Casey Mack is on the show for Board Teachers Comedy Club, and he does a thing where he goes, "Where are all my retired teachers?" And they go crazy. "Where are all my teachers with 10 years or more?" And they go crazy. And he goes, "Where's all the teachers that are 1 year in, the new teachers?" And it's literally.
Really?
And yes, it's always like one or two. And I'm telling you, these are 1,800 seat theaters, and there's one or two going,
That should be alarming to people to hear that.
Absolutely. And not only that, but I see a lot of parents that come to the comedy show and they bring their daughter or their son, and the son or daughter is going into teaching. And it's so funny because mom goes, "I'm a teacher and I brought my child and she's going to be a teacher." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "So what are you going to teach?" And they're like, I don't know if and you can see the hesitancy already. There used to be a passion. Like, my mom's a teacher.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a teacher too, just like my mom.
Yeah.
And my grandmother was a teacher too. And we come from, people would say take pride in going, "I'm the third generation teacher."
Absolutely.
Fourth generation teacher. And it wasn't even a matter of like how much money you made. It's just, it's fulfilling. You loved it. I remember one mom in particular. She goes, "This is my daughter. She's thinking about becoming a teacher." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know if I really want to." And she goes, "I can't blame her." She goes, "I'm taking early retirement next year because I got to get out." Wow. And so it's like 2 generations gone,
Look at that. And it's going to stop right there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And this is the interesting thing. Pennsylvania makes decent money. And I've been up there, and a lot of the teachers seem pretty happy with their job for the most part.
Oh, wow.
I've talked, I don't know why, but Pennsylvania is one of the main states where they hire me to come speak to the schools. So I know that they got it together because they're hiring quite possibly the best professional development presenter, keynote presenter ever. I talked to them. They seem like they're very happy. But even the happiest of the happy are like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this.
So imagine
I don't want my daughter to do this.
The teachers in Florida. Bro.
I don't even know what the certifications look like in Florida, but I got to think that they're at the lowest of the low that they've ever been for new teacher certifications. I don't know. So if you got great news, share it with us. I love getting emails. I get all the emails all the time from people going, "Hey, check out this news article." Can't tell you how many I got of the Fight Club we shared last week, but there was a lot of people sharing that. All right, now let's jump into this last thing I got. Then I got one more thing for us to talk about. So this is teachers sharing their most inappropriate comment or behavior that they had to discipline a student for, yet they secretly thought was hilarious. So that was posted on Reddit, and teachers could respond to it. Basically, the funniest things that they saw in their classroom, that they heard in their classroom, and that they secretly thought were hilarious. Now, this one makes me laugh. This first one is great. I teach 7 and 8 year olds at the little school, the elementary school, and at lunchtime, I overheard a child say to another child that they can't eat something because they have a nut allergy. And then another child spoke up from across the room and says, "But are you allergic to Dee's nuts?" And then obviously pointed to
Was it wrong? And the teacher went, got him.
Yep. Got him. Oh, man.
That is funny.
This is my favorite. It's one of those things where you ever have the student tell you something. They think they're paying you a compliment, but
backhanded?
It's like you go, why would you say something like that? This teacher says, I am white, and in my first year of teaching, and I had a middle school student who said, and I quote, "You look like Janet Jackson if she were white and had a flat booty."
You look like Janet Jackson.
Yeah, and it says, I don't even know what that means, but to this day, it's still my contact info in my best friend's phone. So White Janet is calling.
With a flat booty.
White Janet with a flat booty.
That is funny.
All right, next one.
I hope she said you're welcome.
I know, right? All right. The student noticed a photo of a pretty woman on this teacher's desk and said, "Is that your wife?" And the teacher responded, "Why, yes, it is. She's a social worker." And the student responded, "I'd like to work her socially."
What? What? Man, what do you say to that?
I don't even know what that means, but I get it.
I know what he was going for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Jesus.
Oh, man. You read that and you're like, okay. I mean, how do you respond to that if you're a teacher?
That's the last day of work for you.
This next one, I was tutoring a kid after school. He asked to go to the restroom. After 15 minutes, I knocked on the door. He opened the door and said, "Oh, sorry, I was just pleasuring myself," using that word. And very nonchalantly, and she responded very off guard, said, "Wash your hands."
Yeah. I mean, can you get in trouble for that?
I would think, but
do it on your own time.
Yes,
there
absolutely.
you go. I'm trying to find a way to say that. Yeah.
Yes, this one, oh man, this is the one I laughed the hardest at, James. Okay, because it really catches you off guard. There was a student who was a South Indian immigrant child, and had a very strong accent, and the kids were riffing back and forth "yo mama" jokes.
Oh wow!
And then he chimes in and gets everyone's attention and said, "I too would make fun of your mother, except cows are sacred in my culture."
Okay, wait a minute.
Is that not the best comeback ever?
Bro, that's pretty good.
I would have to high five him. And by the way, it's game over after that. There's no coming back from that.
You can't come back.
You can try, but it ain't going to work.
Sacred cows.
This is one. There was a teacher who apparently had a photo on his desk, again, of a very hot blonde woman. And the student asked, "Teacher, is that your wife?" And he said, "Yes." And the student responded, "Damn, nice job, dude."
Well, yeah.
And he was like, "Bet."
Yeah. True.
All right. Now, this is the last one that I wanted to talk about. I thought it was really funny. James, I'm going to use this. I will use this, okay?
Okay.
So this is a male teacher writing this, and he said, "I was teaching sex ed, and I was going over methods of protection, as you would in sex ed. And I was talking about condoms, and a student said, 'Hey, mister, you know that barcode at the base of every condom? What does it mean?' And he said, I don't think I've ever noticed that." And he said, "Oh, I guess you don't roll yours down that far."
Mic drop.
Yeah.
That's
when you break back into Roman Fight Club.
Yeah.
Dumb down.
You know, everybody in class is like, ooh.
Yes, I literally, I thought that was
That's
so
funny.
funny. Yeah, I don't, my kids, luckily, I don't think have said too many inappropriate things. They've said some things that have caught me off guard. I'll tell you one story. So the other day, my son, my youngest, was turning 7.
Okay.
And he was about to have his birthday, and we were going to have a big party. And this is one of those points in life where you think maybe I'm spoiling my kid too much.
Got it.
Because I love to spoil my children.
We all do, man.
Yeah, and living in Orlando, we go to Disney World, we have fun.
Yeah.
You know, the kids get what they want pretty much.
Yeah.
And my youngest son, he's 6, turning 7. He looks at me and I go, "What do you want for your birthday?" And he said, "I really like giraffes, so I want a full-size giraffe." And I was like, "A real giraffe?" He goes, "Yes, a real giraffe." And I said, I said, oh man, I hate to disappoint you. I said, but you can't just go buy a giraffe. I said, we have nowhere to keep him. And Giraffes are wild animals. They're supposed to be in the wild,
Yeah.
or, you go see them in the zoo. And my kid just paused for a second. And he looks at me and he goes, "You'll get it."
Wow. That's it. That's it.
It didn't comprehend him.
And then he backed up into the shadows.
It didn't comprehend to him that
You'll
I
get
just can't get something for him.
That's hilarious,
That he
man.
needs a giraffe.
You'll get it.
You'll get it. Your kids ever say crazy stuff when they were growing up?
Yes. And I'm
Yes.
going to preface this story by this. I have a very famous ending bit.
Yes.
I talk about my love and appreciation of bigger women and
Mm-hmm.
how I dated a woman that was a bigger woman and she wanted to be a stripper. So I was there the first night she stripped.
Right.
And then I proceed.
First and last night.
The first and last night because it was the same night.
Yeah.
So I proceed to stripping into a halter top and a hot pants and a thong. Very tasteful, by the way. I'm gonna be a little.
I just love how casually
I say it.
Yeah, he's like, so I literally take off my clothes and I am in a halter top and a thong. Anyways, let me get to the interesting
I'm
part.
available for birthday parties
And bar mitzvahs.
and divorces. Okay. So my kids know this. My
Yes.
kids know that's my joke. They grew up with that joke.
Yes, and so you bright pink halter
Halter
top,
top,
and a thong.
Thong. Yes, for everybody. You're welcome, America.
Yes, I know.
So my wife one day comes downstairs. It was a Saturday morning. The kids were already down there. They already had their cereal. They were watching Netflix.
Uh-huh.
My wife comes down, looks at the show. She goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is rated R." And they're like, "Mom, relax. Our dad's practically a stripper."
He is a stripper.
Yeah. And my wife said, "Touche," and walked
Touche.
away.
You can watch it.
You
That's
can watch
fine.
it. It's fine. That tracks. Yeah.
So you're reminding me of one. This is a funny story too that I have when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
So I went and saw True Lies with my grandparents.
That's a violent movie, man.
It is a violent movie.
Yeah.
It's a very violent movie. I saw it in theaters when it released, which I think was like 95, 96, maybe
Yes.
at the latest. So I was 11, sitting in between grandfather on this side, grandmother on this side.
Wow.
True Lies. Yep. Now, James, you're thinking about the violence. I don't know if you remember the tape player scene with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, True Lies. I was
Yeah.
just saying, okay, I was thinking of a different movie.
No.
I do remember that
You
scene.
do remember that scene
I
because
do.
anybody who's seen True Lies, especially
Yes.
males, know exactly what
Exactly
scene
what
I'm
you're
talking
talking
about.
about.
So I'm 10, 11, and Jamie Lee Curtis starts taking off her clothes, and she's in a thong, stripping up there, doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember this was exactly what I did when she started. I was like, "What?" And I closed my eyes, and I went,
You peeked?
and I was just speaking the whole time.
Did your
I felt
grandparents say
they
anything?
didn't move. They were just stoic. I was like, my
Really?
grandfather was probably very invested.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
My grandmother, I thought she would say something. Nobody said anything, and I was just, and I just watched the whole thing, and I was like, wow. This is life changing.
It was. It was.
And the second that came to VHS, I had it. I
Uh-huh.
did. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I remember specifically that scene, and when you're a kid.
That sticks with
awkward
you.
moment.
It does. I
Yeah.
remember watching that movie going, wow, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I also remember, this will be the last story I'll share, is we watched movies in school.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you watch movies that had like an inappropriate moment in it. And teachers usually prefaced it, just so you know, this is what you're going to see. I was in 7th grade, and I remember I saw, it was math class, and we watched Fly Away Home. Do you remember that? It was with Jeff Daniels and the geese. And
Yes.
he taught his daughter how to fly like a lightweight, and they guide the geese home or whatever. There was a scene where Jeff Daniels is like woken up and he's in whitey tighty underwear.
Oh, yeah.
And I will never forget, our teacher was like, there's going to be one part where there's some underwear. Don't worry, I'm going to fast forward through it. And she was at the desk all the way behind us, and the TV is all the way up at the front with the VHS player, and she forgot.
Oh.
And I'll never forget, Jeff Daniels stood up and was in whitey tighties, which, by the way, nothing big, but to her, she didn't want to get fired.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that woman tripping and falling over every desk. I'm talking like she was straight up fighting for her life to get to that VCR.
Nobody look.
She's like, oh my God. She ran up and she hit the fast forward. She's like, I'm so sorry. And we're like, It's
You didn't care.
Yeah, first off, we were all asleep, and you just brought our attention to it.
Yeah.
'Cause none of us were paying attention at
Like
the
there's a
time.
kid in the corner.
Like, so,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'll never be the same. And then I was in the corner like,
Oh,
James,
hilarious.
how can people find you online, my friend?
Guys, you can find me the same spot. Instagram, James Yon Comedian, YON. Please keep following me. Thank you for all the new people that are hitting me up, giving me all these great stories about teachers. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Don't stop.
Absolutely. DevinComedy.com for upcoming tour dates. Don't forget to message me if you want me as a keynote speaker at your school over the summer. August is pretty much full. So as much as you can, as quick as you can, message me. My new book, A Teacher in the Wild, is out. Don't forget to check that out. And check us out on tour with the Board Teachers Comedy Tour. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit share, 5-star rating. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. So there might be a clip up there. There might be a clip down there. If it's got our face, if it's other people's stuff, come back. Don't click on that, But us, suggested things. That's us. Crying in My Car. Devin Siebold, James Yon, Board Teachers. Watch. New trailer for Indiana Jones. No, don't do that. Don't do that.